One. Hi, everyone.
Happy Sunday!
Happy Sunday. Thank you for returning. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share. Y'all have done a really amazing job of sharing, and our Instagram is like kind of popping. So, like, thank you for all the sharing. We really appreciate it. We do it because we love talking about GH and we love talking about it with y'all. I love that the comments and the back and forth we get is like so respectful. It's just like we all like different things, but it's like really nice to be able to talk about like soap fandom is such a niche fandom anyway. I don't really need a whole lot of divides amongst it. Like you like what you like, I like what I like, and it's been reflected in our comments on YouTube, on Instagram, and that's just been amazing. So please continue to share. Tanya, how was your week?
Um, it's been okay. Work-wise, we hosted some students to come to City Hall, and
Hmm.
that's always fun to see,
How
the
old?
one they were seventh and eighth grade, so they could have been a lot more moody than they were. Yeah,
Right.
they were, some of them were naturally quiet, some of them looking like they were falling asleep. But what I had did was I had gone to their school earlier and taught them a little bit about local government, like how the city councils run and all that good stuff.
Big
And
Leslie,
got
no energy.
right, and preparing them to come to City Hall. They'll go to chambers as if they were in a real city council meeting and making public comment. And we had about 15 of them actually do it, 15 of the 35. And they gave some really great speeches, well researched. Some of them were well researched with data. I was like, what? More detailed
Oh,
than most public comment. They're like, we pick up such and such amount of trash every year and blah blah. I was like, all right then, coming with actual
that's
research.
really cute, and I
Yeah, it
love
was
every
really
part of it.
cute. And but I was also taking it down for my own personal knowledge of, as I am embarking on my own campaign, it's always good to know where the you stand on things because they will be brutally honest.
Will do.
And so what they see is, a lot of what we all see, but if it's bothering them in particular, I think it's really something to make note of. So I was taking notes.
Hmm.
But it was fun, having the students there getting so excited. They all wanted to be up on the dais where all the council sits,
Yeah.
taking pictures, pretending like they're chair of the meeting, and just being kids.
Oh,
Be
that's really
loud.
cute. It's like I
So,
say cute, but I also mean like very inspiring. Like
hmm
I'm really happy that they know so much. When I was a social worker, feels like a lifetime ago. But I used to run group. Like my coworker
hmm
was like you're good at group, so you just do it. And I was like,
hmm
but so I had my friend come in who had just been elected. He was like in his first year, and he came and talked to the kids. These were like 14 to 17-year-olds, and they grilled him. I was like, dang. And he said afterwards, he's like, this is the toughest crowd I've ever been in front of.
right? Because
And they like came. They were like, why do you keep criminalizing us? Why do you give more money to lock us up than you give to our schools? And I hadn't even
hmm
prepped them for that. I was like, oh, they sound like me.
they know what's up.
They do.
They
They're so
do.
smart. They're so,
Yes.
we got to teach them babies how to use a map because they don't know how to do that. But when it comes to like knowing that right from wrong and that moral question, they know.
Exactly. A lot of questions like, how come, my neighborhood looks this way and yet the other neighborhoods are a lot cleaner and all
Yep.
this stuff, they notice all of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're so observant in ways that we
hmm
cannot give them credit for. I mean, I feel very blessed to be an auntie, so like I get to see them in a different way than like a parent.
hmm
Um, so I just like see the world through their eyes is so cool, and not having to do like the discipline, if you will, of them. So shout out
Right.
to parents. You do the hardest job in the world. Couldn't be me. You know what I'm saying? I just sit in awe of
Right.
y'all.
Yes,
Um,
you get to take them home.
yeah,
We'll see them during the day.
exactly. Well,
So.
My week, I don't even remember what happened in my week except for Beyonce's album dropped. I was in, so our friend Britt, who hosts sometimes or guest hosts sometimes, she does Twitter Spaces. So I had done like trainings all day. I had done like 3 trainings in a row. Now, mind you, I do my own schedule, so I was like, who scheduled me like this? What maniac
That
scheduled
was
me
you.
3 trainings in a row? So
During
after
Beyonce drop week
it
too, no
was
less.
wild. I was like, what was I thinking? And so Britt did I'd like hopped into like the last like 30 minutes or so of Britt's space. And I was like, I'm doing like a deep skincare routine right now, and I'm gonna listen to y'all, and then I'm gonna listen to Beyonce. And so right at the time where it came out in the US, I hopped on a Zoom with my friends, and we did like a listening party. You've done it again. Raised the bar for us all, and done it effortlessly. In the words of that like Netflix video or like that Strong Black Lead video. I love it. It's been on repeat. The only time I've stopped listening to Beyonce is to watch GH. And that's it. That's where we are. That's been my
That's
week.
that,
It started Thursday night. I'm like, that's been my week.
that's dedication right there. I appreciate it.
Certified
Um,
Hive over here.
yeah, I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want anyone to get mad at me. But my life has been work and cartoons.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. That shouldn't make anybody mad at you. You are
Oh, well,
working,
I
you're
was gonna
working
say,
season.
yeah, I haven't heard the album.
You don't need to do that. You have done so much else. Like,
I'm like, I have not heard the album. I
no,
know that
that's
it's
fine.
out. I know that there's lots of commentary. I know that she has. I think I was watching CBS this morning. They did a whole their 8 o'clock hour was really dedicated to the album drop, which is amazing.
I love
If
that you were
I
up. I was still asleep at 8 o'clock.
Oh yeah, they were. I think it's almost as much attention in just television on this album, and it reminded me of Michael Jackson in his heyday. Now, Michael Jackson would have gone even further and had his video debuted on Friday, must see TV, everybody watching it.
Hmm.
I don't know if Beyonce commands that yet, but I think she could actually if she wanted to.
Yeah, she just
I think she
doesn't do
could.
it.
She doesn't do it,
Yeah.
but it reminded me the fact that so many people were talking about it and focusing on it in just regular television reminded me of those days. So she's definitely up there with Michael. And the commentary that they had was really talking about how she highlighted and brought back the history
Hmm.
of, Black artists in country music. And one of the songs was actually a commentary on how when she first sang, I believe it was with the Dixie Chicks at a
Hmm.
concert and got backlash. And then one of the songs is about that, and that she dedicated her album in uplifting the history of Black music and its presence in the country genre. And so that's great. I think she's done that before. But I think there she's also doing another genre of music, rock and roll, I hear. So that's
Well,
gonna be
that's what
interesting.
they say. So like you
Yeah.
broken this like last set into 3 acts. So act one
Hmm.
was house music, which was like
Hmm.
what happened on Renaissance. Act two was like this reclamation of country music. Even
Hmm.
though she said it was like this is not a country album, it's a Beyonce album. But it was
Hmm.
like, and then like the next album people are speculating it's gonna be rock and roll as like that was our
Hmm.
music too. Um,
Hmm.
I one of the songs I keep coming back to is Blackbird. So she did it with 4 other like Black women in country music. It was a
Hmm.
cover of the Beatles song, and
Hmm.
I didn't even know, and I love that song. I didn't even know that it was like written and inspired. Paul McCartney wrote it because of the civil rights movement. So it's like this really amazing part of like being able to like dig into the history of so many things that she's done. So it's been really good. I am gonna listen to Beyonce when I upload this to YouTube and to
Hmm.
audio platforms. Um,
And
it's been
yeah.
it has been really calming. I'm gonna fold some laundry to it. I cleaned my kitchen to it the other day. It's just been very, it's been good to help me, you know,
And then also, what did you
with
think
my
about
productivity.
her rendition of Jolene? I heard that she kind of flipped the script on that too.
You know, it's so funny. That I saw there were people who were mad at it. It's so funny for me, because I just try to avoid stuff I don't want to see. But like, so I ended up seeing a bunch of soap Twitter stuff, which was whatever. And then I saw like a bunch of critiques of Jolene. And so like obviously the original version of Jolene is Dolly, like, begging this girl not to take her boyfriend, like, and it's like if you look at Dolly in her heyday, that's a baddie. She still's a
Mm-hmm.
baddie. So it's like, damn girl, what did Jolene look like? You know?
Right?
And so I remember when I heard that Beyonce was gonna cover it, I was like, are we supposed to pretend like somebody taking Beyonce, like like Beyonce like coming to somebody like, please don't. And so I appreciated that her rendition was like a flip, like, girl, I will run up on you if you take my man. Um, and that's also like a genre of country music, which is like women who will like throw hands and pull out them guns if you come at their stuff. So I
Right.
I liked it. I thought she sounded amazing. Let me not gush for the whole hour or so about the album. But yeah, I did really like it. I like the song she did with Miley Cyrus, in addition to some of the things that she did with other Black artists. So shout out to Beyonce. And let's hop into this week of GH, which, well, when we first hopped on, I was like, I said to Tanya, I said, what the hell is Friday?
Woo!
So tell me, who was your performer of the week?
This time I didn't actually write down who my performer of the week was ahead of time, so now I'm thinking about it. But definitely want to give a shout out to, well, Sam's work,
Kelly Monaco,
Hello
absolutely.
Monaco's work was great. I mean, I didn't necessarily agree with everything that she did, but as like the character, like I didn't agree with all the time that she was angry at certain things, but very emotional, very intentional, very I yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I
It's
liked her
beautiful work.
presence this week. It was very beautiful. Um, what else stood out to me? I mean, and this is up for debate. I always I always feel like Maurice Bernard does a great job when he portrays the instances where he's dealing with his bipolar diagnosis, and so we'll talk about that a little bit. But I always feel like he does an amazing work in that
Mhm.
era, so I want to highlight that. Um, Shout out to Danny, the
Yeah.
actor that's playing Danny. I mean, he again,
I
was
think her name's
showing up.
Asher.
What's his name?
Asher. I don't know his last
Asher. Getting beat down by Big Brother.
name.
Sneaking into the courtroom, being like, I want to make sure, I want to see what's happening. Stepping, like, going into the room, obviously glad to see Dante's awake, but being sure that he's asking him, did my dad do this? I
Mhm.
mean, he was on a mission to ensure that he knows that his dad is not this evil person that everyone's trying to make him out to be. So yes, it's still gonna. I feel like there's still gonna be some interesting dynamic with Sam, telling him, "I'm gonna do everything I can. You don't have to see your father again. I'm gonna make sure that." That's gonna be interesting dynamic because I think Danny's gonna be super loyal after this, and that's always gonna happen. He's gonna hero worship his dad, so that's gonna be some interesting conversation. You
Yeah.
know. Also, shout out to Hudson West and his anger, palpable. The fight between the brothers was it was amazing. It was not amazing. It was it was interesting to watch. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think those are the performances that really stood out to me. Um Even though there's some that are like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. But the performance wise, those are the ones.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do always try to like separate when I'm thinking about it, like performance from like storyline, like you
Yeah.
said. And I 100% agree with Kelly Monaco. I mean,
Hmm.
for Kelly, this is her when she's given an opportunity to really shine. I think that a lot of times that Kelly is not in the like midst of story because they're
Hmm.
not telling story for her. And so what we see is that anytime she does have story, she shows up and she shows out. I loved every interaction she had, the way she played it. The stuff with her and Stella, obviously her and Dante, her like reading the book, like you could really see the emotion from her. So I mean, Kelly is Kelly and she is amazing. I will also say I think that so many people did well this week. To your point, Mo, and like this like once it became clear what was happening with Sonny, it was like, oh, and then you think back. And so it was one of those things that you like get to think and say, oh wow, he's done this very well. So he had tweeted something about having like a really good time with this storyline, which I was happy to see because we know that he has spoken really at length about how hard it is for him to play Sonny on the brink of breakdown. And so what I appreciate about this part of the breakdown that he's having is that it isn't as angry, it's more vulnerable. And that is a really interesting thing to see him play. And it's really different and it really shows range and it shows that he is really committed to this. So I felt like he was great. Um, yeah, I just feel like so many people had great performances, and I know that as we talk, we'll highlight some of those performances. But Kelly and Mo really really stuck out to me. Yeah, in a week of really great performances, those
Oh
two
yeah,
stuck out to me.
definitely.
Yeah. Well, another performance, let's actually start with we see Trina grieving Spencer this week in a different way, in a way
Hmm.
that I think that people have been asking for. So we see her first go to Jocelyn and them have like a little have some words. We see her talk to Stella, and my God, Vernie knows how to pull a performance out.
Hmm.
What a amazing scene partner. This is how you know this woman is seasoned because her stuff with Tabiana really like got me like woo. And then we see Trina and Tabiana go um to Spencer's like grave marker. We know there's nobody there and like kind of monologue and that was a lot of dialogue for one person. Like a lot of dialogue
Hmm.
that she was able to get through and really express, her grief, but also it felt like turning the page. So what did you feel like? I know fans have been like asking, we have been asking to see more of like Trina and what was happening with her. What did you feel about the way it was structured, the story, all of that?
I I liked for her that she got to play some salty, angry scenes with Jocelyn. Just as an actress, I like that she got that dialogue. Um, Obviously, I did not agree with her, but I did appreciate that she got to have that. And I'm also glad that after she did visit Spencer's marker. She went back and apologized. I think, yes, so I think there was definitely a lot of emotion happening during the scene at the marker. There was, there's tears, there was um, anger and reflection, and so I liked it a lot.
Mhm,
At that, yeah, definitely it was time, and I don't know if it was a reflection of new writers, or she just had a little bit more time to be able to practice with it, but I thought it was great.
mhm.
Hmm.
I agree. I think that Joss and Trina have one of the strongest friendships and to me one of the
Yeah.
best relationships on the show.
Hmm.
And so what I appreciated about it is that it was not an argument. It
All
was
right.
that Joss allowed Trina to like name what her issue was. And
Hmm.
then, like you said, we get to the scene where Trina like apologized. Joss was like, okay, but I was wrong too. And
Mm-hmm.
like, and I could have been more open, and there's something else I could like. It's like a reflection of the friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Their gentleness and their tenderness with one another is really beautiful. And then when Joss got her to reflect about Spencer and like reflect about the time in Paris, I just thought it was a
Mm-hmm.
really beautiful thing. And again, I do hope that this is like we're seeing Trina turn a page. I will be honest, I have had such a hard time connecting to the story. I kind of named this up front a few weeks ago, but because the way it was always like put out was like, yeah, this is like short term. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously with any soap with a character like Spencer, nobody really would have thought he was gone, but it was so clear that he wasn't gone, and it almost felt like there was an expiration date on how long it was going to be that he was gone, that for me as a viewer it was really difficult to get into it, because
Mm-hmm.
any other time I would have want to see like this story play out. Okay, now this happened. Now let's get her in counseling. And like, let's see her in counseling talking about how she's had to shoulder this burden of being perfect and she's never had an opportunity. Because that's really what it has been for Trina. Trina's been a more
Mm-hmm.
adult type character since we've met her. She's been responsible. She's been the person who walked up to Ava's gallery and got her own job and been,
Mm-hmm.
a strong person in her family. So I would have loved to see her like really, really break that down in like therapy. But then on the flip side, it's like, okay, so we would do that for him to come back in like a month. I just feel like that put her character in limbo. And it also like spelled out why they had not given her good story before this. So like it's hard to reflect back on like on this back end good story because she wasn't getting good story before this. And so it's been really difficult for me, I think, to connect with this character I like so much in her grief, because I'm like, what is actually the story here? And are you going to do right by her?
Yeah. It is, it's hard to even invest in the grief knowing that something's going to happen in the next couple months when the
Mhm.
character comes back, and like it's still kind of up in the air. So,
Right.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also been um it is more pronounced now, the like lack of investment they have put into that young adult scene period.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of Trina's story, like I know that there's a lot of conversation about like her being Jocelyn's sidekick. And I hear that, and I think that we do have to like watch out for that because Jocelyn is a legacy character, and it's really easy to like have anybody like revert back to sidekick, and we know exactly how hard it is and like how common it is for them to do that to Black characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we have to like acknowledge that she wasn't like Spencer was getting story and she was almost a sidekick to him. So she had her romance, but she wasn't really getting anything else. And
Mm-hmm.
so now I think is this time to make that right and to give her story. And then if she gets a romance, the romance is on top of her story. It's a part of her story, but it's not her whole story. And before, I think that we weren't getting enough Trina because her whole story was her romance. Even the family stuff, she's talking to Joss about Jason coming back. Taggart came back from the dead. How are we not talking about that? My dad, my dad, my dad, where is your dad? Like Curtis is not your only father, so where is he?
Not
Um,
only where is he, like, how do you feel about his absence? Aren't you concerned about his absence? You're
right,
going through one of the toughest things in your life right now, and the dad that raised you isn't here. How does that make you feel?
right, right. And it's that, and it's also, I know people hated Rory in that relationship, but taking away people from Trina's past takes away her roots. And so it's nothing to like throw in, just as like they have Jocelyn throw in Oscar every now and again because he's part of her past. it's nothing to say, Dante being in the hospital reminds me of like losing Rory, and it makes me feel guilty because I didn't care about him like I cared about Spencer. You can use that relationship to validate Sprina further. It doesn't have to be to invalidate Sprina, but it does need to be present to like remember that she has roots, she has a past in this town. It's not okay to just have her skip from one story to the next without building on it. And that's what we're seeing and like not telling the backstories of what, of like what has happened to her. So that had just been a little frustrating to watch. I'm glad, like you said, she got those scenes, she got to shine in those scenes, and she got to like move forward in those scenes. And so I'm hoping that we're going to see more forward movement. And that's not to say we don't see more grief or more it being difficult because grief is not linear, but I would like to see her moving forward.
Agreed.
Also, Michael with the weirdest condolences of all time,
Yeah, I'm so sorry about Spencer.
with the little face to it. I'm like, Spencer was your cousin, bro. Like I know
He's
that we
a,
never talked about that, but that was your cousin.
but he was a cousin through Sonny, and Sonny ain't talking to either him, and he wasn't really interacting with Spencer when Spencer was alive. So, uh,
True, true, true.
not
Um, well,
as not adult Spencer, little kid Spencer. It was all good.
yeah, but yeah, it was much to be desired.
Hmm.
Well, Jason, as you mentioned, the boys are fighting, his kids are fighting. Um, and he has his day in court. But like he also realized that Jagger had been playing him. So he didn't realize that he had this past with Jagger as Jason Quartermain. That kind of blew my mind. What did you think about that?
Well, it didn't blow my mind that he had his past with Jason Corman. I think he was mad that he didn't realize that John Cates was Jagger. Because I
Right, that's what I'm
think,
talking
yeah,
about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think maybe Jagger and Jason Morgan. I don't know if they interacted at all, but
Yeah,
just
they said they
identify.
did that
Yeah,
they both were like kind of fighting over
for
Karen.
over Karen. Jason Morgan was or Jason
Jason
Quartermain.
Quartermain.
Yeah, um so yeah, he definitely felt some kind of way about that. And that's crazy that Jagger didn't say anything about it. Knowing that there was this connection, I still feel like even though Jagger, we know that Jagger was the FBI person that is like handling Jason Morgan as he's a mercenary, but I still feel like Jagger is involved in a more duplicitous way. I feel like he needs to be evil and I don't like him. So like I want him to be involved with the Pikeman scheme in some way, and I'm hoping that it just comes out because it does. He seems to be behaving in such a shady way in all areas of concern, whether it's like his relationship with Jason, whether he's interrogating kids and just being, manipulative with Carly. And I don't know
Mhm.
if he's being 100% honest with Anna either. And so I feel like there's something going on with them and I don't trust it. So,
Yeah, it was
I,
weird. I did
yeah.
laugh. I had like posted on our Instagram. I was like, I guess it ain't snitching if you talking to Anna because like Jason sang so quickly. I was like, okay,
Yeah, to Anna, because
yeah,
I feel like there is that level of trust between them, and
that's true.
maybe he doesn't know about Anna being outed. I don't think, or he hasn't talked about it.
No, I don't think he
So
knows. Yeah,
yeah, so I think he may believe that Anna may still have some power within the WSB or something. I don't know, to help save him from whatever's going on. But in any case, yeah, he sang like a bird, and I'm glad because I don't think I would have been able to tolerate the mystery of what happened to
Anna,
him too
I
long.
know.
Like, yeah, at least the audience and Anna knows what's happening, and that's good.
It's very weird to me because it's like, yes, he was a mercenary, but does that mean he didn't have access to any like news? You never checked in on your people? Were you
Right.
where you just like, well, I don't want to know if I can't be with them. Like, what was the thing? There were so many big things that he missed. Like when he didn't know about Britt. I'm like, you ain't know there was a serial killer in Port Charles? Like, what are you
Well,
talking?
he didn't know about Bray. He didn't know, yeah, he didn't know about Bobby. He didn't know about a lot of stuff. I feel
I
like
mean,
it's
it's
the
gonna
same.
be heartbreaking when he finds out about Epiphany.
Yeah, I feel like his captivity was almost the same as, Drew being captive. Like
But I don't
it
think
may
that
have.
that's true.
Well, I almost feel like it has to be that way because why wouldn't he not know about these things? So, like he may not have been like brainwashed and drugged in between, but he was in some sort of facility where he was kept away from normal society, where he couldn't leave and he couldn't know about what was happening in Port Charles. I don't know what it was, but I
But I
feel
don't feel
like
like that's true because if he was working for Pikeman and working his way up, why would Pikeman be okay with him like not being, you know what I'm saying? Like he's working
Mhm.
for Pikeman, so Pikeman doesn't know he's working for the feds.
Yeah, but he could have come and gone from one facility and gone to, whatever meetings he had with Pikeman and gone back to the FBI in some sort of seclusion.
Right, but like
Being,
I
yeah.
don't feel like Pikeman would have been okay with like him being off. You know what I mean? Like you have somebody who's like literally working their way up. They're not somebody who's going back and forth between Pikeman and the feds in a
Oh,
way
he
that
had to
keeps them
be out
locked
in the
up.
street.
Yeah.
Like he had to be out in an apartment, I guess.
Or something. It just felt weird. And I think that maybe this is like something, it's another example of when we are thinking about something more than
Uh-huh.
the writers are thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like we're like, how is
Yeah.
this? It doesn't connect. And they're like, well,
Right.
just go with it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt weird. I love when Anna was kind of like talking to him, like talking about Brit, and he was like, she was like, yeah. I felt like what Anna was saying in her heart was, I mean, I'm sorry that Brit died, but I remember when she was beefing with my granddaughter, so I ain't really messing with her like that.
I thought his comment too was interesting. He's like, she had such a great smile. I was like,
Anna was like, cool. She was also burning my grandbaby's dolls, so I don't
but
really
all the things he
her.
could have said was he said she had such a great smile. I mean, it could have been like, I cared about her a lot, even though, she may have gone through some things. I really did care about her. That would have been appropriate. Just be like, yeah, she had a great smile.
Yeah, Jabrit
I
was
guess.
never for me, so
Yeah. She did have a
whatever.
great smile though.
I will also say the thing that was like confusing to me, and another thing that was confusing to me, um, Trina said it, Sonny said like it was like everybody's been well, let me back up. Trina was like, well, why did he leave Port Charles? And I'm like, why are people not just Trina but Sonny, like
Hmm.
Sam, Liz, people just acting like he just left. Like he had gone to help Britt. So I don't understand why there are not more questions being asked about what happened when he was gone, as opposed to like accusations. Like why would
Oh
we
yeah.
hop right to, oh yeah, you must have been doing something shady, as opposed to being like, you were on Castle Island from where we rescued Drew. Are you
Like,
okay?
yeah, so yeah, their question is like, why did he choose to stay away? I think that's the tenor of his question. They're questioning, and I agree. Why are they assuming that he chose to stay away? Like, why are they not assuming that something kept him away? I mean, again, look at what happened with his brother. His brother disappeared for a long time and it wasn't by his choice. So why
Right.
are you assuming the same thing about Jason? Like Jason's like going to rescue this person, almost get in an avalanche. And when he got free, he's like, well, F Port Charles, F all my kids, F all my family. I'm going to stay away and go join the FBI. I don't think, why are they assuming that's what happened? It's
So
crazy
bizarre.
to me, especially people who are the closest to him
Mhm.
outside of Sonny, but all the people who are closest to him assuming bad intentions. That's crazy. Um,
It's so weird. Well,
yeah,
I would also say, it's interesting to see. I keep saying interesting. Everything has been interesting to me because I don't have answers. So it is interesting
right.
to see like how people are dividing along like
Mm-hmm.
innocence and guilt.
Mm-hmm.
So even his own kids, where
Right.
Aiden has more trust in Jason than Jake does. I said, look at the Leah baby
Yes.
acting like his mama. Mm.
Yeah, he's the even keel, peaceful one, and it was so cute when at the end of the fight he's like, "I'm sorry."
It was cute. I love little Aiden.
He's like, "Are you okay? I'm sorry, but I gotta go."
But big Aiden, that kid is tall.
Okay, can we talk about how big all these kids are? Rocco, did you see? I was like, so they're just gonna age up all the kids except Scout then, or next week Scout's gonna be like 20. I don't
Oh God.
know. He's like,
They
it's
were
crazy.
so and so talented, like such a good talented bunch. I thought Rocco was really good. I'll also say Christina was making me side with Molly.
Oh yeah, that was my hot take. I was like, why are they trying to make me like Molly today?
It was it was like, Christina, please stop. And then to both Molly and Jocelyn was like, well, my dad said so. Well, your dad's in the middle of a breakdown and you don't even know. So maybe you aren't the best judge of like what your dad said, Christina. I was just remembering, even though I really like Kate Mancy, I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I've never liked Christina.
Christina would do stuff like that. She would just make these jump conclusions and then stand on them 100% hard. And everyone's would like, girl, rethink your life right now. But she wouldn't. She'd be stuck on stubborn.
Yes. And so it's like I like Kate Mancy as an actress, and I think that she's extremely talented and has done a really great job of stepping into the
Right.
role. And I like Craze, Christina and Blaze.
Yes.
And despite all that, I still don't like Christina.
Exactly. But
Oh,
I think she's bringing out that attitude, that 100% defensive Sonny that's always been there, which was what I was expecting when it came to Nina. But she's,
she's like, oh
again,
Nina, I wish that you guys would get back together. Get out of here, Christina. Get out of here.
you're wrong on this. Wrong. I was hoping Christina would be the first one to yell at Nina and tear her down, but nope. She's stuck on what Sonny wants, and so just gonna and I think it's because he was they keep talking about it. He was so open to her coming out that she's always just gonna be 100% loyal to him no matter what. But she needs to see that her dad ain't 100% correct all the time.
Christina wants to up her position as into the favorite. She won't be because it always has been Michael Dante her, but she
Hmm.
wants to up herself into the favorite. And she knows that if he goes back to Carly or in that realm, then she's out for real.
Oh, for
So
real.
if
Yeah.
she's with Nina, her and Nina have created like some kind of sunny bubble. It was gross. And for her to like go
Gross.
to Molly beforehand, like she's about to like, I don't even like Molly. I think it's ridiculous that Molly was even on this case. Like,
Right.
Robert, forget you for this. Molly should
Hmm.
have recused herself. It was ridiculous. She looked
Hmm.
ridiculous going up against Diane. And still, Christina, why would you go up to this girl right before she about to do this case do this hearing and be like, well, I just want to make sure that you're not biased. Girl, get out of the courtroom. You ain't got nothing else to do.
You're biased. Why
Go to
can't
your
I mean
job.
you're hella biased.
Like, get out of here, go to one of your jobs. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's very ridiculous. And
I called her.
her trying to come at Jocelyn. Ooh, I mean, Jocelyn would have kicked her ass if she had enough time
Well, and not pregnant. But
and not
I feel
pregnant,
like,
right?
Christina, you don't feel like you too grown to be beefing with Jocelyn?
Apparently, she don't.
Because it's something I meant to say last week that I didn't say, which is it was like really mind-blowing to see Nina okay, so like it was at the same time Nina was like beefing with Jocelyn and Dex,
Mm-hmm.
mostly Jocelyn, while Ava was like mothering Trina. It was like
Right.
one scene to the next, and I'm just like, what are you doing?
But it's like you always say, people always equate Jocelyn as just the little Carly,
Right.
and which is really a shame. She's still a young person, and they argue with her like she's a grown adult that Carly is, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
and they feel justified in doing that. And a lot of
Right.
fans talk about that the same way. They talk about Joss like she's just Carly, and which is crazy. She's
Which
still
because she got a lot of
young,
jacks in her.
but she does right exactly. She does got a lot of jacks in her.
That
Um,
judgy snitch stuff, that's jacks. That's
yep.
all jacks.
But people were also talking about, that juxtaposition where she is definitely judgy and snitchy, but she's like letting go all of that when it comes to Jason. It's still 100% loyal to him. But I think that's mainly because Mom and Michael are.
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean, Jason's been there for her.
yeah,
Even with, you know, yeah, Jason's been there with her. She had the same beef with Kim. Because you remember back before Kim and Jocelyn got together, um, with the whole Franco thing, they were beefing. She was like, obviously, he didn't do.
right.
That's back when Jake believed in Jason too. But anyway,
Right.
you know,
And now he don't.
you know,
Oh,
I just felt whatever. Also, we had a J Sam reunion. Um,
yes.
I I posted about it. It was like I posted the picture from when they first had their meeting like 20 years ago, and then, this week.
Hmm.
Um, I Sam, I love you so much, Sam. Like to the moon and back. I didn't I understood where she was coming from being mad. I was
Right.
not mad at her for being mad at Jason.
Right.
As a mother, 100%. What she said to Danny was weird. Even when she was like,
Yeah.
your dad is broke, our trust is broken. Why would you tell your son this? Like, what are you doing?" Or
Yeah.
like, "Don't worry, you won't see your dad again." I'm like, are we not reading the room? That boy was like, "What you mean I gonna see my daddy?"
Here's the thing. When Danny was born, or before Danny was born, actually, all of Jason's baby mamas had to convince him to be a father and was like, "You are different. You will be a great father." He's all hesitant. I'm a mob person. I kill people, all this other stuff. And they're like, "No, it's going to be great and you'll be fine." And blah, blah. And now she's like, how can you put him in this situation? How dare you? And I'm just like, you did not think this would be a possibility. It's like for me, and I know the change happens when you're a mom. It's totally different
Yeah.
than before you're a mom. And so I do agree that yes, it is dangerous to have him as a dad, but you know, choices were made, and before.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard because they're always walking this weird balance,
Right.
and like trying to make everything work for Sonny and Jason. Um, I wasn't mad about that. I wasn't mad about
Mhm.
any of her decisions. I was annoyed that she talked about it with Danny and that she didn't pay attention and like that she would think that Danny wouldn't want to see Jason. Like I actually appreciated a little bit more of what Liz did. I think it's because Liz learned her lesson from the Franco thing, which is
Right.
like we actually don't know, we have questions, whatever. Now, of course, it's different because Sam is scared because her kid got implicated in a federal crime, but it just was like I don't know what's happening here. Um, I just wasn't a fan of it. I mean, I
Or
wasn't
like
a fan
they
of
or
Dante this week, but I was not a fan of what happened with J Sam. I'm interested to see what happens next, and where that drama lies.
Yeah, and then I also, again, like everyone else who don't believe Jason until, like, she didn't believe him until she asked him and saw him,
Mm. But she
which was
believed it right
interesting.
away because all
She
Jason got
believed
to say is
it.
no, and then people are
He
like,
said no, and then she's like, okay, I believe you. But before it was a question mark. But I'm
right.
like, you know this man. You know how he operates. Why is it a question mark? But
Yeah, it was. I think that maybe it would be more compelling if we didn't know all the answers. So like we saw everything go down, so
hmm
it's like frustrating to see characters that we know should know better think differently, but
hmm
we never thought differently because we saw it. So if we
yeah.
didn't know, then maybe we'd be like, well, yeah, maybe I would have questions, or we haven't know where Jason is, or whatever. But the only thing we didn't know was like why he was gone. But we knew he didn't shoot Dante. We knew, he tried to save
At the
him.
same time, we knew what happened because we saw it, but we also know the character of Jason.
Yeah, I was,
So,
I know. I was just trying to give
like,
my girl a little space.
I know, sorry, but that's it. I mean, it's one thing for maybe Jocelyn or the kids or Curtis, this people who aren't close to Jason to doubt him. But, for Sam, you know, Elizabeth to have the maybe in there,
Well,
but
Liz
at
stay
the
with a
same
baby,
time,
Jason.
but then,
Liz
but
stay
at
with
the
a
same,
baby.
yeah, but at the same time, when it comes to choosing between their old love and their new love, that adds a new complication. So again, when it came to Jason having possibly shot Dante, okay, she's like, are you trying to go after my new love or whatever? Or Elizabeth, doubting Jason around Franco. I think that I can give them a little bit of wiggle room, but
Mm.
everybody else, ugh.
Another piece that I thought was really beautiful was Brooklyn delivering Monica's letter to Jason.
Oh yeah,
That was
because
another like, really nuanced performance I felt.
mhm.
That you felt the love and the support even from the letter.
Yeah, I mean, Mama believed in him 100%, and she
Well,
always
Monica
will.
always believed in her trifling ass kids, so does she not? Monica didn't hit AJ how many times? AJ could be alive now and Monica hiding him.
Oh
So, but
my
I thought it was
god.
a really beautiful
Yeah.
touch. I can't believe they brought Leslie Charleston back for Finn, but not
And
for
not Jason. What the heck?
what is going on here? Um, I also love that Danny just be doing his Googling. He's like, this is a hearing. This is an arraignment. This doesn't even happen here. Like, I'm like, you're a little lawyer, little. But we do see that Jason gets bail, $5 million. We know that Michael writes the check ASAP. That was such a interesting court hearing. I want apologies from Olivia. I want Drew to get his stuff together. Um,
Hmm.
I want Christina to stop being Sonny's emotional support daughter. I want, I just want too many things, right? But I was happy when Elizabeth came in and like sat with,
Sat on the side of Jason.
right,
Yes, that was
and
good.
Danny sneaking in. I was like, how did nobody see Danny? He wasn't
I
low.
know. He wasn't quiet
What's going on?
either. He didn't have no mat. He had no disguise on or anything. He
He
just
was on
came
his
in.
decks.
Right.
It's like, it's just not speaking. Like, okay. Um, but anyway, moving on, we do see that Dante wakes up, which I was so happy. The scenes, like I said, between Sam and Stella were so good with them and Sam standing up for Rocco, like, listen, he will not be having to see this between his for his mom and his dad. Just like really cementing how much of a family Sante has. I think has been really beautiful to see. I really wish that we had seen some of it before. But I think all of these actors have done so well in the work that they've done on screen when we see them that even though we've not seen the connection, they bring forward the connection. Rocco and Dante, I teared up. I was like, poor little Rocco. I hate that name, but you're so good. Um, the fist bump with Danny, and then the
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I'm so glad you're woke, Dante. Could you clear my daddy?
All right. They're saying my dad did.
Would you?
Could you
Um,
let everybody else know? Thank you.
Dante like apologizing to everybody, like telling Sam to get over here. It was just like, I mean, what a gift to Sante fans. It was such a like, it was just like thing after thing after thing, that really showed and cemented the bond, that showed and cemented the family. just like amazing performances all around. I just was blown away and so impressed by that whole set of scenes and by those whole sets of relationships.
And he looked great.
He did. He did look great. I said, "Oh, you so you wake up from the coma fine. Got it."
Right, exactly. Which is how it should be. And I can't wait for Nurse Love to come and take have a visit.
And
Um,
I'm sorry, I can't not look good. I don't know what you'd like me to do. Coma.
right? You know, my hair looks great. My face looks great. I had a facial. Just like it was awesome.
Sam was like, made sure that my man was exfoliated while he was
Mhm.
in his coma. Don't you worry about what's going on over here.
Right.
Yeah, I was happy to see it, and I was also happy because I was worried that we were gonna have to deal with like him not remembering or whatever. He instantly
Oh
like,
yeah, I was
let
so
me see
glad.
Anna. This is what happened. Um, I loved when Anna called Carly, and Carly tried to pretend like Jason wasn't with her.
Yeah, when I see Jason, I'll let him know. She's like,
Anna was
okay.
like, "Okay, girl, well, whatever." I am really finding myself loving the interactions between Anna and Carly because
Yeah.
Anna is not worried about Carly at all. She's just like, it's just like, whatever, girl. And Carly is like, it's just like, it's a fun interaction, I think, that they have together.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I really enjoyed them. Um, Valentine,
I was, I don't know why I was shocked, but I was. I
shocked,
was shocked. Like
shook.
they kept that a good secret. They
I was
did.
shocked and shook.
But you know what? It was like, why am I shocked? Because yes, he's the perfect person to do this. Why? I mean, down to the fact that he hired a deaf person to drive. So there was like no, like he couldn't hear anything because
So
that's
many
Valentine's smart.
implications to pull back. So
Right.
let me say, I was so mad at Sonny when Carly was talking to Sonny and he
Mhm.
was like, "Your son." I said, "I know you're fucking lying."
Yeah, I was like,
I was,
he's
I was furious. I was like, I already had thrown Sonny away. I was about to kick him down. You've got to be kidding me.
Oh
And
yeah.
then even like Ava being there and like when she blocked Michael from coming in and then when she tried to like say it was so bizarre. But what I
Yeah.
did love is that like we all could kind of tell something was wrong with Sunny, but we didn't know, you know?
Right. Until Valentine explained,
And
he's
then
like,
Valentine
yeah,
explained the meds thing, and then the very next scene, it was
you
like
can
it was even more pronounced.
you can see it. Like you can literally
Yeah,
see him going through his symptoms or when he's like in a manic state. Like he's like
right.
he does the things, like he touches his face a lot. He reacts strongly to different things. I think yeah, he's more volatile. He's also more vulnerable, not
Mhm.
paying attention to details the way that he should, easily to be manipulated. And so, but here's the dynamic of this with Ava is so interesting. So Ava is not the
Yes.
one she's not the one manipulating his meds, but it's almost just as similar as to when, she was involving herself with Morgan and
Yep.
Morgan had placebo and she was manipulating Morgan. Woo! When it comes
The
out,
echoes were
oh, the echoes were
strong.
huge. I was like, wow.
Mhm. So I'm
Wow.
like, are Ava and Valentine working together? And so let me back up and say, first of all, I'm glad my man Brennan is back. Um,
Yeah. He's
Valentine wants you to
hilarious.
know that his name is Jack. He said that name
Twin.
25,000 times.
Listen, Jack.
I was like, okay. Also, you know, the chemistry between Valentine and Pikeman, the chemistry between Valentine and Brennan, I was like, what am I watching here? Are you about to kiss? And I'm okay with that. Like it was these two charming actors. I said, y'all ain't got no business being this charming together. You just throwing Kim everywhere, okay? Y'all are a mess. And that's what makes them like so good as like villains or doing bad things, that they're so freaking charming that like they were just having a charm off in the van. Um,
Yeah,
but
it was kind of hot.
what's what's going on here? Um, but yeah, that juxtapose of like seeing them talk about, oh, and it also like begs the question of how long Sonny has been off his medication. And so we were talking,
Mm-hmm.
somebody was like trying to say to me that it hasn't happened yet. Like they were trying to argue me down, and I was like, that's not true. They, first of all, they told us they brought up Cyrus as a time marker so that we
Mm-hmm.
would know that Sonny beat up Cyrus. This was a part of being off the meds. So he
Yeah.
was off those meds even when he was still with Nina.
Mm-hmm.
Know when it happened. I don't know how long it's been happening, but it feels like so Valentine was basically like, because Sonny wouldn't or doesn't want to like do this work with us, we have had to like take these other measures.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how long he's been off those meds. I also
It could have
said,
been as early as when Brennan got arrested.
right. I also
Yeah.
said that all that stuff between then and now is kind of like a get out of jail free card for Sonny. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that like this, it just like it's gonna reshuffle relationships when it all comes out. So like, what is Dex gonna think? Because Dex is gonna be he was good with Sonny up until he wasn't.
Right.
Dex be like, which now he's like, I might work for Anna, Dex. But like, so now he's doing this. What is he gonna think? Is he gonna be like, oh, I should have noticed, or I feel guilty, or all the reasons I didn't like him are now void? You saw Jason had a little spark, like, what's going on with you?
Yeah, that's the thing that I wrote down in my hot takes. I really feel like Jason is seeing something, like he's recognizing that something is wrong, and
Mm-hmm.
like he might know,
Mm-hmm.
um, even if he it's a, if even if it doesn't click 100% right now. I think he's thinking, is this dude on his meds? Because
Or
like
the med's not
he or the
working, or
med's
what's
not
happening.
working or
Yeah,
whatever. Like,
yeah.
and Carly getting all in her feelings won't recognize it until Jason points it out to her. But
Well,
yeah,
one of the most telling lines for me,
right.
Carly was like, Carly basically was like, I'm used to him doing this to me. I can't believe he did it to you.
Hmm.
It's like, wow, that's toxic. Like, I'm used to him being like a monster to me, but I can't believe he was that to you. Ugh,
Right. But he
yikes.
was a monster to you both.
Yeah,
You
it was.
two were the ones that are Jason and Carly are the ones most intimately involved in his bipolar. And so the fact that she didn't recognize it is crazy, but she's all in her feelings about one, the betrayal, and two, the fact that Jason's back. I don't think she's been able to process anything. Um,
Yeah. I mean,
but yeah,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I think yeah, the signs were there. If I'm thinking back on things, him making rash decisions, um, him, just, I just feel like I have to go back and watch everything, but now that I think about it, everything, it makes sense. The way he's responding to things and being super angry and paranoid, about his family betraying him and, you know, all
Hmm.
of that. And it also is the same with, even his interactions with Nina first time, because he wasn't on his meds before when he was in that one city,
He
Mission
was on his
Falls.
meds. He was on his
A
meds when
little
he was
bit. Oh
auditioning.
yeah, he did.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
they recognized that there's something was wrong
The
with him,
Phyllis.
and Phyllis,
You
and
haven't seen.
if Phyllis was here, she might recognize
He
something was
definitely
wrong.
would. Hmm. Um, I was gonna say, I think in Carly's defense, even though I know I don't have to defend her, I do
Yeah.
think that there is something to the fact that Sunny has been different to Carly for a long time.
Hmm.
Everything from, coming back from Nixon Falls, like cheating on her with Nina, marrying Nina, like the way he's treated Michael in the whole thing. So for her, it's been this is it's been like slow walking a difference. And uh Jason, it's like a snap. But it's also like Jason hadn't seen Sonny a lot post Nixon Falls anyway because he left pretty quickly. So anyway, it is like Jason knows him. I, I'm also wondering about Ava because something I was peeping was her giving him alcohol. She's like, I'm gonna make a drink. And it's like, okay, but Ava knows he's not drinking.
Or he can't be drinking
Right. But then
while
he has
he's on
not.
his meds.
Right.
Yeah. So
It,
yeah, it's really, what is Ava's stake in all this is the question.
yeah.
And is she
Um,
like really falling for him, or is she just really being manipulative? Like the
yeah.
fact that
Or both.
she told him Dante was awake, but didn't let him go see him, doesn't
Right.
let him see the phone. She's pulling something definitely, but to what end?
Right. And then what I read, I mean, I could completely be wrong, but was that she had been doing all this, and then when he kissed her, she realized that she had some feelings. It flickered for her. It was like, oh,
Mm,
um, so that's what that read to me. I also, it's hard when they do these things and they don't consider like, where are the kids? Where is Donna? Where's Avery? Where they at? And
Donna just came back from her trip to the police station.
don't even get me started. But but like where the kids at?
Right.
And Ava is I will say this that like whatever she's doing is gonna have implications for all of her relationships. So you got Valentine and Ava lying to Nina.
Mm-hmm.
You got Ava and Trina's relationship, I think, kind of in the balance because Jocelyn was really quiet about what Ava did to Morgan once Trina got close to Ava. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what it looks like for their relationship once it comes out that Ava's been manipulating Sonny, regardless of how Jocelyn feels about Sonny. Because
Yeah.
it has impacts on her mom, her sister, on Jason. So I have to believe that's gonna have some sort of fallout for Trina.
And then Ava hasn't actually been engaged in bad behavior per se.
Hmm.
Like she's, if she's done anything, it's really in defense of protecting herself from things happening to her.
Right.
Doing what she's doing with Sunny right now is purely, I wouldn't say it's purely premeditated, I guess is what you would say.
Hmm.
Like she's doing it on her own for her own reasons. And it's not about protecting her health or her family or Trina. It's about whatever she's doing. And so that's
Or we
also
don't
something.
know.
Yeah, we don't know. Well, maybe Kiki is alive and
I don't think there's that.
and
But I
Pikeman
mean,
is, but I'm just saying, like, what is it that's motivating? It just seems like it's a different dynamic, and Trina may see her in a different way if it's truly about Ava being, scheming Ava. She might feel some kind of way about that, you know?
mhm.
And I think
Yeah.
Portia will definitely feel some kind of way about that.
Oh, you know that.
Yeah, because
Uh,
Portia is barely tolerating Ava.
right. But speaking, because it was even like Ava and Sunny having this conversation about Dante and Avery. I'm just like, Ava, what are your feelings about this if you're like doing this to Avery's dad? And how are you
Mm-hmm.
okay with Avery's dad being around Avery if we know he's like unstable?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe she doesn't know. Like these are the questions that all of that brings up for me.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm also wondering how it connects back to Austin's death because we ain't thought about Austin since he's been gone.
Poor Austin.
Or Mason, Iris involved. Uh,
Right. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. How is Cyrus involved?
did you know he
He's
is?
involved in some kind of
Gotta
way.
be.
He has to be. Because it's, yeah. I was just thinking, like, he let Sonny off really easy. We still don't know what Nina promised him other than some sort of media thing, podcast. But I don't think that's enough to really get him from holding back against Sonny for revenge. There's something else happening, and I think he may be involved in this whole Pikeman thing.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Well, I wrote this is what I wrote down in my notes to the tune of the Temptations. Don't nobody come to see you, Curtis. Like, like don't nobody come see you, Otis. Curtis is like, maybe they were going out after me. Curtis saying that maybe somebody was gunning for him, and
Nobody.
Sonny saying, or maybe Sonny and Jason were gunning for him, which is just as silly as
Like,
Sonny
why?
saying, Jason and Carly have been working together against him for years, and at least Sonny's off his meds when he said that. Curtis, ain't nobody got
Ah,
you. You thought that
nobody.
somebody cared about the Savoy like that?
Right. Like, for
Why would
what?
they target you, Curtis? Nobody come to see you, Curtis?
Nobody cares about you, Curtis.
Nobody.
Period. Except for
Nobody.
Selena. Selena wants his club, and that's it.
Even Laura was looking at him like,
Are you sure?
I don't think so, Curtis.
Maybe you should listen to the source.
Ridiculous.
So ridiculous.
Anyway.
Um,
Also happening, Gregory is getting worse, and Chalene might move their wedding up.
Honestly, I kind of fast forwarded those scenes. I'm sorry.
I don't care. And it particularly is hard for me to watch as like somebody who's recently lost somebody I love to ALS. So I'm just like, I can't. I I'll read about what happened. If something that's a plot point happens, let me know. I'm not interested.
I did watch the scenes up until the point where they started talking about the wedding, where, the family was hovering. But he did look like he was like he needed some rest. He needed to pause and sit down because he was like breathing hecka, like he sounded like he was asthmatic. And so, but yeah, they were hovering. So I did feel for him a little bit, but not enough to be like, oh, this is a great story. No.
What I saw was Chase being like, I'll do anything for my dad except move my wedding. So whatever.
I will helm my dad and babysit him and all the good things, but I'm not moving up my wedding. That's sad.
Yeah. Mm. Well, that's all I got for storyline for the week.
Um,
Um,
yeah. I have hot takes
yes, I have a
somewhat.
couple,
Well,
but yeah, go ahead, please.
um, what did I say? Um, so there's on Monday while Trina was, having her grieving period, I was also paying attention to, silly details, like the fact that the cemetery is near the water. I had no idea.
Done.
That was interesting. Also, I noticed that Spencer is an Aquarius.
They also aged him up.
They did.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
So,
he looks old because he's like what 23 on the grave or something like that.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, all right. But he's an Aquarius, so shout out to the Aquarian team Aquarians. Also, I also when Elizabeth was with her boys, I was like, damn, Elizabeth is little compared to them.
They're giant. Yeah.
Yeah, and um, and then on Tuesday, I was like, who's the cute black girl with the fro behind the counter at Bobby's? I was like, hey, Beth, hey, you can be Trina needs a friend, a cousin, an enemy, something.
Something.
That would have been great. Um, I already talked about why they're trying to make me like Molly better than Christina. Oh, I have a new nickname for Valentine. He is now Evil Teen. Evil Teen is trying to kill
Not evil
Sunny.
team. That's like Ovaltine.
It's Evil Teen. Um, yeah, and then just, oh, the comment from me with Sunny was, I can't believe I ever loved Carly. I was like, sir,
That was nuts.
have all the seats. I was like, oh my goodness. And then yeah, shout out to Evil Teen and the deaf dude. That was really smart.
Yeah, that was nuts. I was like, oh. I had a couple things, and then we have a couple behind the scene things to talk about. I just
Hmm.
talked about Nina being ridiculous. Like you at this hearing, and you talked about the magazine. I
Just like,
Jocelyn's face when Carly was like, "Well, how does his family feel about you?" And she had the little. I can't even like do the face, but it was amazing. Um, And also like Olivia, I'm tired of the friendship with Carly. Like they're not friends in my eyes. Olivia has been disloyal a few too many times for me.
hmm.
Um like and I understand her being like very upset about Dante and all of that.
She
But like
shouldn't have showed up at the courtroom in my eyes, if that's the
no,
case.
if you think that somebody shot your son, I'm not mad at you for whatever, but she just has done a little bit too much for me. Too much supporting Nina, too much lying. I'm over it with Olivia and Carly. Let's
Mhm.
chop it. That friendship is a chop. Um,
Well, Carly don't need Olivia anymore. She got Jason, so it's all good.
well, that too. That too. Um, so two big things that happened online that we saw. One is that a couple of the breakdown writers have been let go from the writers' room, including one who I followed on Instagram. Her name was Shannon Peace. She's one of the people who did a lot of writing for Sprina and also for Vanna. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so she's been let go. I think might have been one of the only, if not the only, Black breakdown writer in the room. So that's
oh,
not good.
that's not
Um,
good.
I believe she also wrote, if you remember back to when Portia and Jordan had their conversation about race.
Mm.
Um, and I also believe when Portia and Stella had their conversation about race, she had a hand in writing both of those.
She
Um,
probably had a hand in the writing of the whole doctor thing too, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. She didn't mention that. So I
Okay.
remember her mentioning those other ones. So she might have, she probably has, but um I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. I don't know if they're firing breakdown writers and bringing new ones. I don't know if they're gonna try to do everything themselves. But I saw her also shout out somebody else who
Uh-huh.
had been let go.
Well, I hope
So
they get a new position at the gates then.
me too. And I also
Mm-hmm.
hope that we get more diversity in the writers' room.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just breakdown writer or not just like head writers, it's also the breakdown writers and the script writers and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something I was like really noting is that they have like leaned into history, but they have not been accurate about recent history. So
Mm-hmm.
you would have Molly be like, "Oh yeah, remember when I was like a like romance writer and wrote that book?" Or
And they
Jason
said it was a best-selling. No, I was like, was it?
I guess. I don't know. I don't remember. But Jason Morgan I'm sorry, Jason Quartermain and Jagger going to high school together, that kind of stuff, the Karen stuff. So they're like reaching back and finding these like kind of older storylines that they're bringing back. But then stuff that was like week to week, we're finding these discrepancies. So I'm hoping that we get to seeing more diversity in the room and that this is not these are not steps backwards.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. And then the other thing is, did you see that? And this has not been confirmed by the network or by like Soap Opera Digest or anything like that, but someone on Twitter, his name's Brett, um, tweets about like who's in the credits and things like that when the shows run. And NAC is no longer on contract. So the rumor is that he's gone. I am waiting for us to confirm. I haven't posted anything about it. I am not surprised by this. And I was actually wondering, and I was like also saying that this is part of the thing that makes it really difficult to invest in like in like Trina's grief because you don't know like is it going to be over next week? Is it going to be over in a month? Versus like who's how are they coming back? Are they still invested in Sabrina with the recast? I think that we were all really clear that even if Nicholas did come back to figure out or finish out his contract, it wasn't like we were going to get him for any substantial amount of time anyway. So I don't know.
Right. I'm not shocked by it either. Although I'm sad for the character of Spencer, I don't know who they would recast. But at the same time, we didn't know that, Nicholas Chavez existed until he played it, and he was amazing. So I'm going to be open minded about it. But, wishing Nicholas Chavez the best. I'm not going to like begrudge his need to actually go out there and pursue other opportunities because he's
Right.
definitely talented and he deserves that. So good luck. And maybe I'll watch. I don't know. I hope you don't get into this thing where you go into all these horror movies. I don't watch horror movies. So I am going to give this, Eric Mendez thing a chance just because it's something that was in the news and I remember it happening. But if you do horror movies, Nicholas Chavez, I can't support that. I'm sorry. But I do wish you well. Just don't do the horror movies. Go the pilot television, route. Go on Law and Order. Go on, whatever. That's what most
I don't
people
know if
have
I can
done.
support your propaganda, friend, but
No, but it seems to
yeah,
be like where everyone seems to go. So go the other
do a
route.
procedural.
Do a procedural, but no
Um,
horror. I love it. I
yeah,
wonder if he has comedy chops. I think that would be interesting. You know, but maybe he'll be in the next Star Wars movie. Because that will be awesome. Or Mandalorian. Oh my
right,
God, I
something
will
that
be a
you watch.
fan. I will be a fan for life. He's a
You're
Star
like, please go
Wars.
be in something I watch. Thank you. Um,
Right.
yeah, I mean, I'm interested. Like I said, I'm gonna be keeping an eye out. I'm not gonna post anything about it until it comes officially from the show. But good luck out there in the world. And I am curious as to what this means for Trina and her story. Um, so we shall see. We shall keep a lookout. Yeah, we shall keep a lookout. Also, if you are on Twitter, Nicholas Betchel, who played Spencer for years, had posted something up. I did not dig into it. I was not interested in digging into it. But he wrote something like, a reminder that I'm 19 and I'm about to go to college and, please be nicer to people. So I don't know what happened, but if you're on Twitter, like go leave him just like a nice note. Um, because I think that I just always support the young actors. Um, with Nicholas Betchel, I'm old enough to be his mama. I mean, young mom, of course, but I'm old enough to be that boy's mama. So you know, I feel protective over the babies, and want, the best for them. And so whatever's happening, I hope that he is finding a lot of kindness and support for. Do you have anything else?
Um. Yeah. No. I think Nicholas Bechtel is. He's an amazing young man. I've been watching like he was on the Disney Channel too,
Mm.
and so I used to watch him on there. So and he always felt like he was an amazing actor. And again, another person that goes to horror. He was on American Horror Story, and
Was
apparently was
he?
yeah. Apparently he
Oh,
played an evil person and was really good. And I was like, damn it. But so you know, yeah, as a teenager in the recent years. So so he was good at that. So if he's focusing on school, great. If you get back into acting, great.
right.
Stay away from the horror though.
You're so funny. Uh, okay, well, let's hop into previews for the week ahead. Monday, Jason visits Elizabeth and Jake. Dante confirms whether or not Jason shot him. We've already seen him do that. Anna puts Sonny on notice. Diane helps Alexis on her appeal. Natalia takes over Blaze's deception contract. Tuesday, Drew checks on Nina at work. John has a new plan to take down Pikeman. Oh, Jagger. Um, Jason reveals something to Anna. Carly and Michael make confessions. These are my I don't know what that's about. Dex gets interviewed about joining the PCPD. Hate to see it, Dex. Really hate to see them copy you. Chase and Brook or Wednesday. Chase and Brooklyn ask Dante for a favor. I do wonder if they're gonna ask him to officiate their wedding. That'd be cute. Finn opens up to Elizabeth about his dad. Sasha and Cody admit their feelings. Blaze fills Christina in on her new job. Tracy crosses with Stella. Thursday, Terry is back, offers Tracy some advice. Curtis comforts Trina. Jocelyn is in shock. Kevin and Laura check in on Heather. Hmm. Sasha shows off her culinary skills.
Is
Friday.
she gonna go work for Carly or something?
Oh goodness.
Probably more likely Nina if
Oh,
she's gonna work. Oh, that'll be a battle if Nina and Carly fighting over Sasha. Ugh.
Friday. Drew chews out Jagger. Lois helps Brooklyn with a wedding dress crisis. Sonny and Natalia get better acquainted. Oh, Christina and Joss argue. Team Joss. Anna questions Brennan about Pikeman. Sam is worried about Danny.
Dan is gonna be like, I want to see my dad, and you can't stop me.
There was also a
Like,
spoiler picture that got posted up in Soap Opera Digest online. That was Drew and Jordan. And I posted, like, I'm sorry to announce that they look very sparkly together because they do. They're
yeah.
both very beautiful people. And like, and somebody had even asked on the picture, they were like, well, um, what about Brick? And then what about Zeke? I liked her with Zeke. I would have loved for them to have brought Zeke on to be additional family for Portia. I didn't like her with Brick at all. And we know Stephen A.
Mm.
Smith is not only around temporarily, and Jordan deserves like a front burner romance. And so, whatever they do, I would like to see her doing something that's front burner.
Yeah, that I didn't feel like there was any chemistry between her and Stephen A. Smith. I do feel like there's chemistry with her and Drew Ryan Lavery. Ryan Lavery has great chem with lots of women,
He
so
does. He does.
so yeah, we'll see what happens.
And he can be more than Carly's sport boyfriend.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm also a little annoyed at him because I'm just like, why are you so anti-Jason at this point? Anyway,
Exactly. So what? So is he now? Now is he now that it's known that Jason is innocent? Why is he going off on Jagger? Like, what's his
I
deal?
don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna come out. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. We'll
All
see.
right, y'all. Well, make sure you like, you subscribe, you follow us on Instagram, tell your friend to tell a friend. That's it.
Comment. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.